What's up, everybody? You are back on the Other Side podcast. I am your host, Mike G, and today we sit down with a true legend from the sport of boxing, a world champion whose journey is built on heart, heartache, resilience, and a will to carry a dream bigger than himself. Through triumph and tragedy, he never stopped fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my huge honor to introduce to you the former WBA lightweight champion of the world, the one and only Ray Boom Boom Mancini. How are you doing today, Ray?
Oh, Mike, thank you. That was a wonderful intro. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. First of all, thank you so much for sharing your time. I'm sure still to this day you get tons of interview requests, and it's a big deal for you to say yes to me.
No, I appreciate that. And, people ask me occasionally, but, Mike, and no, so that's why I'm honored doing it. I don't do a lot of them anymore, and I'll tell you why. I tell people I'd love to do your. I don't take it for granted, and never think it's gonna. Oh, it'll be there when I need it, or if I'm trying to push something, or sell something, so to speak. I said, but I said, I'd rather have something to say. And when you got nothing to say, I don't want to regurgitate stuff that's been said without anything new, something new with it. So this is why, and I got a couple things in a hopper that, God willing to happen, then we'll have a lot of good new things to say in the coming year. But right now I don't. But you're highly recommended by our dear friend, mutual friend, Kevin Aioli. So I said, well, then I got to do it. I got to do it. But
Awesome.
I don't, like I said, I don't turn them down because it's just, I don't have anything new to say. And most of the stuff I've said, on whether it's your platform or another platform, well, it's just, most people have heard it. And, but we'll see. Hopefully now we got a new audience, hopefully.
There we go. I want to go back to the very beginning. Growing up as a kid, locally in Youngstown, you were a bit of a celebrity, I guess we could say. How much pressure, how hard or how much pressure was there on you being the son of the first Boom Boom Lenny?
Well, growing up, everyone knew my father. Everyone in town knew my father. So I never looked at it as any hardship of any kind. I didn't look at it as, oh my God. I was very proud to be my father's son, obviously. And so that was plus I was kind of making my name in other sports, playing sports and stuff. I don't know if I became so-called celebrity or making a name for myself in the amateurs when I was 15, when I turned, and then I started in the Golden Gloves. And then I fought the 3 years in the Golden Gloves before I turned pro at 18. But I was a good athlete, and I played sports, and so a lot of people knew me from my other sports, of course. But then when I turned pro, it seemed like when I tell people, look, you have to understand, when I turned pro in October of 1979, we were only 2 years removed from the steel mill shutting down. 2 years. And September 19th, 1977, known as Black Monday, over 5,000 men lost their job in one day without any advance notice of any. They lost their job. 5,000 men in one day, 10,000 men in 1 month, over 50,000 men in 6 months. It decimated this town. And I don't think we've ever fully recovered. I really don't think we have. But now the town's a different type of town. It's not a steel mill town. We've become a college town. We've become a tech town. We got a think tank downtown Youngstown, the Youngstown Incubator, which is doing some great stuff. But that we just kind of reinvented ourselves, trying to reinvent ourselves like most towns do, or or people do, because on necessity, you have to. So, but so at that time, when steel mill shut down, I would say I was very fortunate. The town needed something to hold on to. I happened to be that guy. Plus, I think my style of fighting was very emblematic of the city. Come forward, you take our shots, to give our shots, so to speak. But at the end of the day, I'm still standing. That's kind of the attitude.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Okay. Tell me about the first time, your first memory of being punched in the face.
Oh, my first amateur fight was April of 1977. I'm sorry, 1976, April of
Okay.
1976, and I was in the Junior Olympics. But previous to that, I've been training. You go to the gym, you train, and I've been sparring with guys that have been fighting in the Golden Gloves, particularly one fighter who was a champion in the novice and open division. And he was very experienced, and he didn't take it easy. And so. It's funny you said that, because people would say, man, how hard is it to keep throwing punches? I said, that ain't the hard part. Hard part is being able to take them, then keep coming back and throwing them. People don't understand, when you get hit, your body shuts down. So the idea of being in shape is, every time you get hit, your body shuts down, but you're able to keep coming back, bouncing back. And the better shape you are, the better you're able to keep coming back. It's when you get hit, you got to prepare for that mentally, not only physically, but mentally. So when you get hit, it's understood. Your brain is able to understand that's part of the deal, right? You're going to get hit.
Acceptance.
It's going to happen. So I keep moving forward. I keep pushing, to get through it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Coming up as a young man, who are some of your heroes, some of your biggest influences?
Well, growing up in youngsters, my boxing heroes. I was a boxing fan. I watched, I used to watch it. At that time, it was only on the only network that was showing was ABC Wide World of Sports, and you could see all these fights. Carlos Monzon from Argentina. You could see Lex Arguello from Nicaragua. Once in a while, he'd be on there. Roberto Duran would be on there. So you'd see some of the guys, but you wouldn't see them often. Some guys would be on twice a year, maybe. But there's, they used to have like a fight a quarter, so there's maybe 4 fights a year. And then you don't see it, but then then you got to see different people like Matthew Franklin, which became Matthew Saad Muhammad, and Mate Parlov from Rimini, Italy, and fights like that. So growing up, my heroes, other than my father, my boxing heroes were guys from again, Tony Canzoneri from the 30s and 40s, because my father used to talk about him all the time. That was my father's favorite fighter. And plus, he got to be good friends with Tony.
Okay.
Tony Canzoneri. Of course, Henry Armstrong. My father used to tell me stories about Henry Armstrong, and he became friends with Henry Armstrong as well. And you read about Henry Armstrong. What a wonderful, wonderful man. To me, the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. Sugar Ray being number 2. Sugar Ray Robinson being number 2. For me, Henry Armstrong, what he did was incredible, of course. So for me, Tony Canzoneri, Henry Armstrong, Carmen Basilio, then Rocky Marciano, Roberto Duran. Those are my boxing heroes growing up. And you try to take pieces of each one of them, try to make it your own. Even if I didn't get to see the other guys fight, I read about them and imagine in my mind how they were, and but you try to take pieces of them and add it to your repertoire. You can't imitate nobody. You got to make it your own. But those are the guys I wanted to replicate.
Okay. Getting into your career, I want to preface these next few questions with, I could ask Google to give me your fight stats, and it would give me 5 different websites, and they would all 5 be different. So if I spit out the wrong date, the wrong middle name or something, I tried.
No, you're absolutely right, Mike. I've tried. I've looked at stuff. They don't have it correct. Man, most of the time, 99% they don't have it correct. So.
All right, I'm going to do my best with these. You made your pro debut against Phil Bowen in 1979. Is that accurate?
October 18th.
Okay, perfect. What was the landscape in boxing like at the time? And did your first fight of your pro career play out in the ring the way you thought it would going into it?
Well, yeah. First of all, again, we were only 2 years removed from the steel mill. So my manager wanted to make sure I made my pro debut back in Youngstown, where I had a great following as an amateur. And then when I turned pro, the people showed up and showed out. You know what I mean? Youngstown always supported me. So it was a wonderful, wonderful event. Yeah, we sold the place out. I think it was Struthers filled us 3,500 people. I think that's what it holds. So people on the floor. So it was about 4,000, and I won my first round knockout. The way I should have won. You get the right type of opponent. The guy's gonna come in. You ain't got any guy's gonna fall down. He's got to be a guy Phil Bone was, I think, was 5-2 at the time. So I had my first pro debut. So it was the right type of opponent. Tall guy, rangy, but I just stayed on top of him. Kept throwing punches and caught him on the chin. He went down. I got jumped on. Caught him again. He went down and referee kind of jumped in and stopped it. So in my mind, it went the way it should go. In my mind, because you always visualize it. You always hear about positive mental visualization.
Yeah.
So I always envisioned every fight in my head before it happened. Okay. And I come out the winner every time. So yeah, the pro debut was good, and the people were just great. Like I said, they showed up and showed out. They were, it was just wonderful. And but the great thing about my manager, David Wolf, because I moved to New York. I didn't stay in Youngstown. My father went to New York. I knew I was going to New York, and that's what staying around Youngstown at the time. A lot of guys, good fighters, left amateurs, never went over. They stayed around Youngstown. And they were never showcased here. You know what I mean? Which is why I appreciate my manager, David Wolf. First thing he said, we're going to have a pro debut in Youngstown. Yeah. And these guys never showcased here. And they became road warriors. They became the opponent. I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to do that. And so I think early on they knew what their career was going to be. My manager brought me here. And the one thing about David Wolf that I always appreciate, I fought October 18th here. 2 weeks later, I fought in Phoenix. A couple weeks after that, I fought in Washington, D.C. And then 2 weeks after that, I fought in Dallas, Texas. So before the end of the year, I had 4 fights. But Youngstown, Phoenix, Washington, D.C., Dallas. So he was bouncing me around the country. Now, you have to understand, also at the time, I was stablemates with Too Tall Jones. Remember, Ed Too Tall Jones made his, turn, became a professional boxer.
Yep.
Well, he was my stablemate. So so wherever Ed was making these big fights, and they wanted to have it, everyone wanted to have Too Tall Jones. I was on the undercard. So I was bouncing around. And then in 1980, I had 12 fights, an average of 1 a month. Now, I didn't mean I fought every month, but it was an average, meaning there was a period of time I fought 3 times in 12 days. Now, physically, yeah, because, it was the right type of fight. Got guy, I knocked him out in the 3rd round. Then I got the next fight, I knocked the guy in the 2nd round. Then the last fight, I knocked him out in the 1st round. So, fought 1 week, then I fought a week later, and then 4 days after that. But the point is, it's the type of opponents I should have beat, but it's building you up on the way up. And it was keeping me active. So I was 5-0, and my trainer, Murphy Griffith, says, man, he said to Dave, Dave, I don't know if this kid can fight. Now, I was living in New York, training out of New York, but I was having a hard time getting sparring out of New York. Hard time. You would think there'd be no problem. You have enough sparring. Guys from all over. I would spar with a couple guys, and next thing you know, they want paid. I hadn't even had a pro for debut. They wanted to pay 10. So we were paying guys $10 a round. Just give me work before, for my pro debut. So Murphy Griffith said to Dave Wolf, he said, look, I got to see if this kid can fight. I got to take him out west. And we brought me to L.A., and we lived downtown. And again, you got to have a manager who's willing to do this, put up his own money, train, put me up for a couple of months, and we trained at the Main Street Gym, which is the gym you see in Rocky movies. Very world famous, one of the most famous gyms in the world, and they come from all over to train there. And I used to read about it. I knew Main Street well, and then I was going to train there. And they had the 3 rings, and all the fighters I used to read about. Daniel Red Lopez was training there, and you see some of them again. Lupe Pintor, champion. So a lot of the fighters you read about. You go, wow, there. And then finally, we were leaving a couple of days before we left. I was training for 5 weeks. Before he came back, Bobby Chacon was in there one day. I said, "Oh man, Griff, there's Bobby Chacon." He goes, "Oh man, let me. I know Bobby. Let me introduce you to him." Introduced to him, and Bobby was such a lovely guy, and so he says, "Hey Bobby, we give him, we're leaving in a couple of days. We give my kids some work." He said, "Yeah, tomorrow. Let's do it." So I went in the gym, and Bobby gave me 2 rounds. And he was just playing with me. Bobby playing around, moving around. He said, let me throw punches. And after 2 rounds, I said, "But Griff, I did pretty good, huh?" He started like, "Yeah, you did great. You did great." Bobby was just playing with me, And I always appreciate that. And I number love for Bobby, which is why later on when they talked about us fighting, I said, "Man, I love Bobby." But I knew I was too big and too strong. I knew at that point. I knew I was just too at this point. But anyhow, so I got a chance to, what I'm getting to, my manager moved me around, trained. You got to go where the action is. I couldn't get in New York. I had to go out west. But thank God I had a manager who's willing to do that. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Those managers, they put the kids in Vegas. And they just stay in Vegas. And they spar with guys. "Well, you got to move. You got to fight. You got to bounce around the country." The one thing, and he said it before we did it. He said, "I'm going to get you known to riders. Well, I'm going to get you known to riders at the beginning of your career. So later in your career, when you're fighting for world titles, they're going to know exactly who you are."
Mm-hmm. Smart. Very smart.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. 1981, I believe you're 19-0 and matched up with Jorge Morales for the NABF lightweight belt. Walk me through that fight, and what, if anything, about him surprised you?
No. I was actually 18-0.
Okay.
The reason I was doing, because then when I beat him, the 19th fight when I beat Jose Luis Ramirez, and then the 20-0, I was 20, and no, you're actually right. No, 18th. I was 18. I was 18-0 when I fought Jose Luis Ramirez. I was 18-0. You're right. 18-0. My bad.
BoxingRec.com was right.
No, 18-0 because I beat him, and then I fought Luis Ramirez. I beat him, and I was 20-0 when I fought Alexis. You're right. My bad.
No, you're okay.
When Jorge Morales was a guy nobody would fight. So finally, here's what was happening. The CBS wants to get involved with the boxing game. And they want to showcase the lightweights. Oh man, I hit the juggernaut, And so they put a good. They get to, like, I was ranked number 10 at the time, and so they put together a round robin tournament, top 8 guys, and the winner fights Alexis. So I fought Jose Luis Ramirez, was ranked 6th in the world at the time. And I was number 10. And at that time, all I knew, nobody would fight him. Nobody wanted to fight him. That's why Dave said, "Come to me and Griff." I said, "Look, man, we got another chance to fight on network television, CBS, doing this lightweight tournament with the ultimate winner gets to fight. Let's go away for the lightweight title." And we got an opportunity to fight Jorge Morales, Kid Dynamite, they call him. Kid Dinamita, kid from Puerto Rico. He said, and nobody wants to fight him. Griff said, "What kind of fighter is he?" He said, he's a aggressive fighter, comes forward, strong kid. Griff said, "Take the fight." He said, "He ain't gonna beat Ray. He ain't gonna beat Ray at his own in his own game." So Griff never said that until he always saw tape first, but he didn't have to see tapes. No, take the fight. And then we watched the tape, and I felt very confident. Strong kid coming forward, but I didn't see anything difficult about it other than it's gonna be a war of wills. I'm gonna stand there. He's gonna stand there. We're gonna do war. We're gonna see who could back the other guy up first. You know what I mean? So I felt confident. I always felt confident in those type of fights. And so that's why that was one of my best fights, and it was my first network debut, and got me a lot of fans, and got me a lot of steam.
Absolutely. Okay. You defended your belt against Jose Ramirez before taking on Alexis Arguello for the WBC and ring title, lightweight titles. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What would you attribute your first loss to, and how did you bounce back from it so quickly?
Well, first loss was experience. Experience is the greatest teacher, and especially in boxing.
Yeah.
Now, I had watched Alexis through the years. I was a fan of Alexis. I love Alexis. I remember when he beat Ruben Olivares in 1976 for the featherweight title. Not on TV, but I read about it in Ring Magazine because I used to get Ring Magazine all the time, read about it. And then he beat, of course, I saw this one on CBS when he beat, oh my God, they call him the Snake Man from Escalera, Alfredo Escalera. Beat him down in Puerto Rico. And then that rematch, and he beat him again. And now I saw him when he fought Jim Watt over in England, and he beat Jim Watt, and he didn't look the same. He looked, but that's a misnomer because I said he didn't look good against Jim Watt, but nobody looks good against Jim Watt. Nobody does. And so I thought that I said, yeah, I could beat him. He's still great, but I think my youth, my aggressiveness, my strength, I could beat him. I'm gonna beat him. And if I get that opportunity, I'll take that fight. And sure enough, I beat Ramirez, Jose Luis Ramirez, and Ramirez was a guy. He had a guy over 70. He had over 60 fights. It was my 20th fight, and he was like, I don't know what it was, 56, 2-2, something like that. And never been dropped, never been on. And you could see on tape, but I watched him. Very mechanical, I thought. And I said, man, plus we already won. We already beat Morales, so that's who we got in the tournament next, right? And the winner's going to fight. But a lot of people, they didn't even put it on the board, the betting board in Vegas, because I was such a big underdog. I was such an underdog, they wouldn't even take the bets on it.
Huh.
And true story. And so when we fought, but I watched him, strong guy, good counter puncher. And if you come to him, you can have a problem. But if you get him to lead a little bit too, make it easier for yourself. So I was coming forward, but I was going to use my jab, bang that body, and try to get him to lead a little bit. When he does, counter him with my left hook, whatever, right? And sure enough, that's what we did. And so if you watch the fight, I held center ring, and every time he come forward, I just moved a little bit, and I'd throw him off. And he'd have to try to reset, and then I'd jump in with a couple of jabs and bang that body and back him up against the ropes. And I've always felt I was the best fighter on the ropes. Very few guys, if anybody, especially at that time, were going to be better fighters off the ropes, than me, better in-fighters than me. So I just kept them on ropes. And then, then I move away. So he's punching at air. So I was kind of in and out. And that's why they throw him off, because they expected me to jump right on him and be there, and he would counter punch me. But I was in and out. And I boxed. I showed I could box pretty good. And then, of course, after I beat him all 12 rounds on everybody's scorecard, then I get the honor and the caveat of fighting Alexis Arguello. And that's one of the greatest honors of my lifetime, to get in the ring with Alexis. Fight for the world title, nothing better. And people have said, oh, it was too soon, you were too young, too inexperienced, yeah, I got it all. I got it. But here's what I tell them. If you want to be the best and you want to be great, how are you going to be great unless you challenge greatness? Greatness ain't coming to you. You got to go take it by challenging it. And how do you challenge by greatness? It's by going after it. And how are you going to go after it? It's by accepting the fight against the best fighter in the world at that time. And to be the best, you got to fight and beat the best. Well, this is no brainer to me. So, there's that. So I said, well, we're in the era now where guys can pick and choose. Nowadays, there's so many different belts. It's alphabet soup. Well, no, if I don't want the WBA, I'll take IBF. I mean, it means nothing. They don't mean anything. And real fighters don't do that. Real fighters want to fight the best. But the game's changed. I mean, you got a champion out there who I thought lost his last fight. And instead of saying, let's run it right back, like a real champion would, he gets offered to go fight some YouTuber, and he's going to fight the YouTuber instead. I don't get it. I don't get it because you're a fighter, you're a champion, and you actually lost.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a controversial draw. When you say let's run it back, if you're a real champion,
Yeah.
I thought so. Anyhow,
Yeah.
I don't know. But then that's where the game's at nowadays. That's the game.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. You pick up a couple of quality wins before being matched up against Arturo Frias for that WBA title. Walk the viewers through your spectacular 2-minute 54-second belt-winning performance.
Well, previous to that, again, after a Goya fight, I took fight off. But I told my manager, let's come right, give me another fight. So we fought the day after Christmas, the 26th, the 26th of December. Then I fought January 22nd. And the winner of that was going to get a title fight. And I beat Julio Diablito Valdez on CBS because I remember it was Super Bowl weekend. Because the next day, Juan Laporte fought Eusebio Pedrosa for a featherweight title. Can't remember yesterday, but I remember stuff like that. Like it was yesterday.
That's awesome, man.
And that was when in the San Francisco played Cincinnati. Cincinnati, and Ohio, Youngstown family owning the 49ers. So and yeah, so I got that. I won, and I guess me another title fight for the WBA. Now I wanted to rematch against Alexis, but Alexis already moved up already. He had already moved out of the division, moved up. So that was kind of vacated. So I opportunity to fight Arturo Frias, and I saw the tape of a couple of arch fights. Tough, strong guy, aggressive guy. And I said to my manager, there's going to be a headache, but let's do it. But I didn't think he was going to be stronger than me.
Right.
It's going to be a war of attrition, and let's do it. So when we got accepted to fight, it was, just prepare for that, that with that mindset, it's going to be a war.
Okay. You defended your title against Ernesto Espana, winning by TKO next. At this point in your career, in your mind, what does the future look like for you?
Well, at that time, my second title defense, so I defend my title. I win the title in May. Now, this is one thing I'm proud of. And I don't want to keep saying this, but I'm proud of this. Because that's what fighters did back in the day. I fought in January. I just fought in May. First title defense was in July. Get through that with the next one's in November. So that's 4 times that year. Those days are gone. Anyway. But so now I get the title shot, and we prepare for it. I knew what I was up against. I know Arturo was a very determined guy, strong guy, but he wasn't going to be stronger than me. But you can see he's a determined guy, but I thought he didn't do anything special, whatever. Just guy comes forward, throwing a lot of punches, overwhelms his opponents. Well, okay, let's do it, great. And just, I'm preparing, I don't want to, you're going to war if you have to, but you want to go out there and you want to make the fight the easiest fight possible. And I felt like I could box him. If I could box him pretty good, I could use the jab and stay on the outside. Well, that went up in smoke in the first, 30 seconds, of the fight. But Arturo was, and a good guy too. So it's just, I was honored to be in the ring with him. I was truly honored to be in the ring with him.
Okay. It's November 3rd.
I should talk about the fight a little bit. But after he cut, that would probably help. He caught me on the chin in the first 20, 30 seconds, and it knocked me back. We were starting off typical with that, and then we had a little, and then he caught me on the chin and knocked me back. And then, of course, he jumped on me, and then it's on. And people will say to me, what were you thinking when you got hit? I said, well, my trainer, we always trained, and you prepared it for this. When you get hit and you get staggered, I wasn't really hurt. I was just more staggered, you get give me a hell of a shot. Then you do one of two things. You cover up or you fire back. And so I chose to fire back. And he was jumping, so I just threw him punches. And all I was trying to do was keep him off me. And I was just trying to survive to get through the round. Because my bell was running a little bit. I was just trying to get through the round. I figured we'd start from round 2. But he kept coming at me. And then so he's just, again, you make it a firefight. He's making it a firefight. So at that point, I just kept throwing punches. He kept throwing punches and bunches. And then all of a sudden I caught him. And I hurt him. And then it's like a shark smelling blood. I'm just all over him. So and then boom, I hit him with a hook and he goes down. Oh man, waiting for him to get up, and then got up and jumped right on him. And fortunately, I was able to throw enough punches and cause the referee to step in and stop the fight. So it was just one of the greatest feelings of my life, a euphoric feeling. I thought,
sure.
But we finally accomplished what we had always dreamed about.
It's the kind of moment it's probably hard to put into words.
Yeah, like I said, euphoric is the best way to explain it. It's the only thing that compares, or even was greater, was seeing each one of my children born. Other than that, nothing.
There we go. Okay. November 13th, 1982. You're standing across from a 27-year-old South Korean boxer named Duk-Koo Kim. What are your thoughts on the fight going into it, and what were your thoughts on Kim as an opponent?
Well, first of all, again, the one thing I'm proud of, to be a world champ, true world champ, you want to fight guys from around the globe. Now, I defended my first fight at España from Venezuela, South American champ, former world champion and South American champion. Now I'm fighting a guy who's the champion of Asia in the Pan Pacific. And again, my man, I'm pretty good at watching tape on fighters and figuring them out. And my manager sent me a tape. I watched 2 rounds, turned it off, called my manager and said, okay, let's do it. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a war, but let's do it. I knew what I was up against. You don't have to see too much. You know what you're up against. And so that's how we prepared. And it's funny now, talk about coincidences. So I go, and we're going to go to Palm Springs to train for this one. Wherever the fight was, one was trained to get acclimated, similar. So the fight was back east. I go up to the Catskill Mountains, at the Grossinger's, higher altitude to get acclimated. When we were out fighting out west, I trained in, Las Vegas. I trained in Tahoe. I trained in Tucson. When I won the title, I trained in Tucson. I trained in New Mexico. Places at altitude is almost as high as Las Vegas. People don't realize Vegas is high altitude. So we trained in Palm Springs. Well, it's not the highest altitude, but the climate's same, very dry, arid. So once we knew the fight was going to be outdoors, that's why we picked the training at Palm Springs. But the funny thing is, I'm sharing a training camp with Alexa Arguello, who's trained to fight Aaron Pryor the night before. He's fighting down in Miami on the 12th. I'm fighting in Vegas on the 13th. So we shared a training camp. I never had that. I never did that before, so it was interesting. And it was wonderful. It was just wonderful. And one of the things I remember most is that I'm training one day, and I said to Chuck Fagan, my assistant trainer, I said, Chuck, it's at the end of training camp and I'm doing my body work, right? I'm doing body. And I look back and I said, Chuck, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? I said, am I hallucinating, or is that Spartacus back there? He goes, oh, yeah, man, that's right. Kirk Douglas. So Kirk Douglas comes to me straight. So he waits to the end, and he comes walking up. And he said, young man, I just want to tell you, it's a pleasure to meet you. I said, oh, man, Mr. Douglas. So I got Spartacus to come and see him train.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
You might be the only person that can say that.
Yeah, I don't know. But he was a big fight fan, and then, of course, he lived in Palm Springs. And so I guess he used to go see guys train when they trained down there. But I was honored. And so that was a great thing. But I shared the camp with Alexis, and I seen how hard he trained, and he would look great. And it's just, it's something, right? And then he went away and went to our fight. And I watched this fight. The night before, I'm sitting there watching the fight. And of course, you get excited about your own fight. And then I saw that. Wow, that was kind of a wow. It didn't sit well with me, going to bed, see Alexis get beat like that.
Yeah.
But then you got to change. You got to get your mind right because I got my own fight the next day, right? So, but the reason I'm telling that story is because I think it's just a precursor to what I was going. I knew I was going to be in a war. I just saw a war, and you just mentally you just prepare for that.
Right.
Yeah.
The bell rings. The fight begins. Walk me through it, and as the fight's playing out, does anything seem off?
Well, no. First of all, if you watch the fight, the first punch comes around and throws a straight left hand and catches me on the chin, backs me up. Mm-hmm. First punch. I said, "Oh, here we are. It's on." But strong opponent. I mean, first thing I knew what it was going to be, but I didn't realize how strong he was until we got in. I got into with him, and my best, always said, and people knew it was coming, but they couldn't stop it. I always like to throw a left hook against a southpaw because when they throw a left hand, their chin's open. They leave themselves. Same thing if I throw a right hand, I leave myself exposed. So when they throw that left hand, you kind of counter with your left hook, and you can't. They couldn't get out of the way, but they run right into it. So I kind of slid to the left of it. Most of the time, punch him on my shoulder. Sometimes you get caught with it, but either way, I'm catching him at the same time.
Right.
So it was a lot of that. We're catching each other, tough shots, power shots, and a lot of infighting. Strong, and he was strong, pushing me back, real strong. And I just I said to this day, I said that was the one fight as the fight was going on. Just every round one was getting harder and harder, and you see where it's going. He's got no quit in him, and never planned that. And I'm certainly not going to, give an inch.
Right.
As soon as you give an inch to your opponent, that's taking over. Mm-hmm. So we're both trying to hold center in. And the fight's going on. It's more and more brutal. It's just, I'm feeling it. And I've said to this day, that was the only fight I ever fought, even the fights I lost, that I felt like quitting in the middle of the fight. Going, I just don't want to go back out because my body was hurting so bad. And his punches were hurting. He wasn't a big one-punch power shot, but he just punches. It just felt like a rock, boom. And you could see I couldn't break his will. Because usually you try to break somebody's will, you break him down first, right? Come break him down. So, it was that was as we got into the last, into the dog rounds. Now you get into after 10 rounds, the last stretch of the fight. Just got to keep coming forward. Just got to keep throwing punches because hopefully I'm able to catch him with something, but you can't give an inch by no means. Mm-hmm. And so I believe it was beginning of the 13th round. I jumped right on him, just jumped on him, and I caught him with some shots, and boom, he kept moving, but he was backing up. Wasn't really, and I kept jumping on him, and he wasn't doing a whole lot to keep me off. Just trying to survive, trying to catch him. And I threw 30-some minutes of punches, first 30 seconds. But then after that, Mom kind of arm worry, and what's he do? Boom! He comes back to a straight left. He catches me. Then he starts pushing me back. I said, "You got to be kidding me!" And so that's what I remember the most about, especially just how hard he hit, how hard how much my body was hurting, especially particularly my head, and how I was just saying, man, I just want this to get over with. At some point, I didn't really care if if you win or lose, just let it get over with.
Just want to be done.
Didn't want to be done. And so 13th round, of course, I went back. And, people talking to you, but 14th round, jump out, go running across the ring like I do it normally every round. He come jumping on me. I kind of sidestepped him and hit him with a shot and then put a combination together and able to drop him. So it was when he went down. Oh man, it was a euphoric feeling. I'm jumping around, I'm going crazy because people don't understand. I never saw him get up. I never saw him slump off the chair. I never saw that. I didn't know he got carried off with a stretcher. Never saw that. I didn't find that until later on in my locker room, when they came back. But real fast, what if they? One of the crazy things about the fight. One of the craziest things. True story. I'm in the corner, and later on, after the fight, I said to Chuck Fagan, my assistant trainer, I said, Chuck, you got to tell me, was I hallucinating, or was Bill Cosby in our corner? He said, oh yeah, Bill come over. Yeah, true story, because he was at ringside. Bill Cosby coming over, and he says in that fat Albert voice, will you tell that boy to move his head, meaning me? And Chuck said, yeah, get the fuck out of here, man. Get out of here. Here's a little bit of that. When I was getting my water and I'm spitting it out, look at
it's not what you expect to see.
Yeah, Bill Cosby in my corner. I was just, that's a side note. It had nothing to do with nothing, right? But it just made me think.
That's great. All right. You mentioned getting back to the locker room. I have to talk about this fight. You knowing what you know about the viewers of this channel. I think there's a lot of mental health stuff that you can add to this that will really be helpful for people. The immediate aftermath of the fight, let's say the next 48, 72 hours, rather than me ask 20 questions about what happened, can you kind of just take the viewers on that journey through your eyes?
Well, first of all, when I went back to my room, my family came back with me, and like they always did. And, we're going to have a party in my suite, in a couple hours, and everyone from Youngstown going to be there. But I laid down, and my eyes were so. My mother got an ice pack on one eye, and my hands are all swollen on one hand. My sister's holding it on the other eye, and the other hand. And all I remember is my mother's weeping over me. My mother's crying. And I'm saying, Mom, why are you crying? We won. And she just kept crying. And she later on, she told me, she said, I just couldn't not look at you and see how bad you were beat up. Mm-hmm. And I'll cry. I said, oh, well, I get it. And that's why I don't think, afterwards, in retrospect, you say, I don't think any parent should have to see their kid go through something like that. That's difficult. And of course, then later on, half hour or so, 40 minutes, I get a knock on the door, and it's Griff, my trainer, Murphy Griffith, coming in. He goes, Ray, got bad news, Ray. So, Griff, what's the matter? He goes, man, it don't look good. Well, what? This boy, Kim, this boy's going to make it. What happened? They rushed him to the hospital. Man, he got a problem with his head. Got problems with his head. It doesn't look like he's going to make it. I didn't understand, because that's just it. That's why I specified saying I never saw him slump off the chair. I never saw any of that. We were celebrating, I went over to the corner. He was saying, of course you congratulate him, great fight, you're going to be a great champion. You're going to be a champion someday. But I never saw him slump off the chair. And of course he acknowledged me but so that's like it hit me. That's just wow. Why did he went to the hospital? I couldn't comprehend it at first, what it was all about. And then, sure enough, he said, "Yeah, Dave's going to come down and talk to you." And then, a few minutes later, my manager, Dave Wolf, come down and said that, yeah, Kim went to the hospital and he was on life support. And you talk about, I was at the height of euphoria, feeling. Now I'm at the pavement of, kissing pavement. And so you go the highest to the highest, the lowest to the lows in a matter of an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. And that was something that just stuck with me. I couldn't understand, why. And I said, well, can I go see him? And Dave said, no, not right now. The doctor said it's not a good idea. He said, they'll let us know. And so, and then, again, the party, we're going to start trying to get ready for the party. Mm-hmm. And which I had. It was hard to show. It was hard to smile through the. I had dark glasses on. The bruise, my eyes were swollen shut, basically, and so I had dark glasses on. And it's hard to smile through. My lips are all swollen. It's hard to smile through all that, and then knowing that my opponent it doesn't look like he's going to make it. So it was a very, very difficult night for me. Great feeling. The win was great feeling, but then it just went to the lowest of low. So it was, yeah. And then the next day I said, can I go see him? They said, and Dr. said, that's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. So I didn't go. And also the night after the fight, after the party we had, so we had a party, and then Frank Sinatra was playing at Caesars. He invited me to the show, to the late show.
Nice.
And I didn't know what to do. Should I go? But he invited me, so I went. And I think word started getting around. It just started getting around, the buzz that he went to the hospital, but not like it was social media now. You would have known,
right.
10 seconds, right? And Frank Sinatra said, he introduced me from the audience, and he doesn't do that. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, I went to one of the greatest fights I've ever seen today. And we have with us, Chamberlain, MANCINI. And I was very honored by that because I know he doesn't introduce people. But he saw a lot of fights. For him, he says one of the greatest he ever saw. It was an honor.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, like I said, it was a great win. It was a great win, except till what happened, there's nothing good about it. There's nothing good about it. So.
Okay. Man, that's rough. How crippling can guilt be?
Mentally? Mm-hmm. Oh, you could, very crippling. Well, that you just said. People ask me, how'd you get through it? I said, my faith in Christ. If I didn't have my faith, how many times people go through stuff you hear about all the time? How they crawl up in a ball and they lay in the corner and they don't move for days. Well, they never get on with their lives. Mm-hmm. Life's about moving forward. And you say you got to be running forward. You got to be walking forward. Sometimes you got to crawl, but you got to be moving forward. And sometimes I call you. I've said, you ever see the crab walk? Crab walks 2 steps to the side, 2 steps to the side. Sometimes we do the crab walk. Moving forward, but you got to be moving. Mm-hmm. And I always said, in life, people are doing one of 3 things at any moment. You're moving forward, moving backwards, or you're standing still.
Absolutely.
2 or 3 ain't good. 2 or 3 ain't good. Mm-hmm. So, my bride just walked in, so just.
No, you're okay.
No. So that's what I tell people. You always got to be moving forward, and that's what happens. But that's whether talk about mental illness or something that incapacitates us, whether it's emotional, mental. You gotta hold on to something. For me, it's my faith in Christ. But if you don't have that, I don't know what else to have. That's the only thing I ever had, and I held on to that, and and you ride that with the good times and the bad. You got to ride, you ride with that always, and understanding that it ain't always gonna, we ain't always gonna get me wrong. God lets you know that too. I'm gonna have to challenge you at times. I'm gonna test you at times, test your faith, and you just gotta hold strong. So that's the thing that got me through it the most. That's the only thing that got me through it actually. But it was just a very, very difficult time in my life that you question everything. And the thing that came to mind more than anything was, why him and not me? Because we were in a brutal give and take fight. He could have caught me anytime. He caught me a lot of shots, but why me? Him, not. And it wasn't. And I didn't catch him like I was beating him pillar to post. It was during an exchange. I just happened to catch him and he went down. And that's what we were celebrating the way we were, because it was during the exchange and I just happened to catch him and he went down. Oh man, but who's to say it couldn't be me next time? Because my style of fighting wasn't going to change. I didn't know how to fight any other way. So that bothered me the most, I think. And then people say, how did you get through it? I said, again, my faith. And that's just time. Time. you let time go, and then you contemplate and you pray and rely on your faith. And I did. And when I got the word he died 5 days later, it was like that. I don't know. Really. You feel the weight of the world, on your shoulders, crashing down on you. Because what bothered me is because somebody passed. It wasn't my intent, and I think we understand that. It's like, and my dear close friend, Father O'Neill, was with me at every fight. The only two people I allowed in my locker room for every fight was my father and Father O'Neill, and they'd come in with me for a while and then give me some sort of peace, or comfort. My father was there, and then so when they leave, I give my father a hug and a kiss goodbye, and Father O'Neill would give me a hug and he'd say a blessing over me. And that was maybe give me some sort of strength and inspiration. And so I was talking to him during this time the most, and he just said, "Ray, we don't understand why these. Christ doesn't reveal everything, our plans to us." He said, "We just gotta trust." He said, "You just gotta trust," and I did. And so, as time was going on, when people want to know what I was going to do, Father Hill said to me, he said, "I know you're having a hard time deciding what you want to do." He says, "But if you're asking me, I want to see you fight again." And I looked at him, he said, "I think God wants to see you fight again." He said, "God gave you a gift. You give it inspiration to the city." He says, "Now, if you took that, if you didn't fight, that's up to you." He said, "But I think you'd be denying these people your gift." He said, "And that's a God-given gift." He said, so I said, "I just let you know." I said, "You're blessed." He said, "And I think you'd be denying these people that gift." And I thought about that. I went, "Wow, that's something." And I took it to heart. And that's not the reason I came back to fight only, but it gave me inspiration. And I felt like I had just got the title and I had a chance to make up my security. And if I didn't fight, I wouldn't get the chance to gain my security, financial security. So I decided to come back, fight again. And people said to me, "Well, you didn't fight the same." I said, "Sure, I did. I knocked people out. I stopped people. I had people hurt. I didn't stop. I jumped right on them." The difference for me was I had no love for the sport anymore, because I loved everything about being a fighter. I loved everything about the sport of boxing, being a fighter. I loved everything about it. But after that fight, there was no love left. It's gone.
I understand.
And I was looking for the door. I was looking for the exit.
Okay. After the tragedy, I don't know if this is something you dealt with or not, but if it is, did you ever run into any instances where you felt like people treated you maybe or talked about you like that's the boxer that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How do you handle that, knowing you didn't do anything wrong?
No. Well, you have to. It's just strength of mind. I mean, look, it bothered me a long time. I'm not saying that bothered me, because what they were saying is Ray Mancini, best known for. I said, wait a minute, best known for? I'm not best known for winning the world title for my father. I'm not best known for defending my title, 3 times. I'm not defending title, for all these other things. But that one fight, don't get me. I get it, but I don't get it.
Right.
I mean, because there's so much more to my career than that fight.
Absolutely.
And so, but they want to they want to kind of narrow it down to one fight, and that's the guy what he's best known for.
When something bad happens, people have to have something to assign blame to.
So,
okay.
But, that happened. That was quite often that happened.
What in what ways do you honor the memory of Kim these days? Well,
first of all, I pray for his soul every night, as I pray for the souls of my brother and my parents and friends of mine that have departed. Mm-hmm. When we did the documentary, when the book came out, The Good Son, and we did the documentary and met his family, when they asked me, Mark Reed was hesitant to ask me. And I said, no, I'd love to be. I thought I owed it to them. I owed it to myself. I thought I owed it to them for the son and the fiance of Duke Kim to meet the man that was in the ring last time their loved one was in the ring. So I thought I owed it to them, but to myself too, because I wanted some closure on it, and it was hard for me to have any type of closure, and knowing they were out there. So, yeah, I wanted to do that. But I think I'm at peace with it. After that, I've been at peace with it for a long time. I should say, that was the only thing. I'm at peace with it. Because you come to a point in your life, you rely on your faith, and at some point you say, okay, God, I'm able to handle it, and I'm at peace with it, and you move forward. And
absolutely.
so I made my peace for a long time before I met Kim's son and his fiance, but that just helped solidify and gave me peace of mind. I met these people and they know who I am now, and I know who they are, and they've forgiven me, and I've learned to forgive myself, because the hardest thing was to learn how to forgive myself. That took years and years for that, but I was able to do it.
Would you say that learning to forgive yourself is something that suffering taught you that maybe success wouldn't have?
Oh yeah, and I tell people all the time when I speak, I tell them, you got to learn to forgive yourself. To move forward in this life, you have to learn to forgive yourself. And I know there's a lot of people stuck who can't. For those out there listening, you got to make peace with it, but you got to come face to face with it, and you got to come to grips with it. And in your head, talk to a counselor. You have to talk to somebody. For me, it was Father O'Neill, my priest. Or talk direct to God, to direct line to God. But you got to make peace with it, and you can't move forward in your life until you do. That's fact.
Absolutely.
It took me a long time to completely be able to move forward in my life.
Okay. If you could have fought anyone in boxing history, dream fight, who would it have been?
Well, people say, I'd say Aaron Pryor.
Okay.
And we became friends afterwards. And I think we were supposed to fight. Actually, we were supposed to fight. We were very close to solidifying it. And I loved Aaron. We became friends, good friends. And I loved Aaron. And I tell people, he's the best fighter out of Ohio. He proved it. I felt very confident against Aaron Pryor because even though he beat Lexus and all that stuff, Styles made fights. Now, if I'd have got a chance to fight Lexus later on, I think I would have beaten him. But Aaron was always up here with his chin in the air. And when people forget, he'd have fights and he'd get dropped by ordinary guys. But he'd get up and he'd knock him out. But he was getting tapped and going drop because his chin was in the air. And I said, if he keeps that chin up against me, I'm going to tap that chin and I'm going to drop it and I'm going to keep him down. I'm going to keep him down. But that's just me thinking. But let me tell you something. Oh, you're crazy. He would have did it. I'd have loved that. And it almost came to fruition. And it was almost set for at the Columbus, at the two places. Ohio State University at the, I forgot what they called the field, the stadium where they play football. They have a name.
I can't remember.
There, but we also talk about at Cleveland Stadium, baseball stadium outdoor. And the reason why is just because he was such a great fighter. I've been honored to share the ring with him. But I felt very confident in that fight. So I guess that's the one fight I wish I would have had that didn't happen. And I guess the other one is Camacho in our prime.
Oh, yeah.
In our prime, not 5 years after I retired. That fight was 4 or 5 years too late.
Yeah, I agree.
It happened in our prime. So
okay. I want to know who's on your Mount Rushmore of boxers. Any era, any weight class. If you had to narrow it down to just 4.
And that's the hard part. So I guess okay.
I know it's impossible.
But Ali.
Yep.
He's the greatest. If you're talking about say heavyweights of all time. Then you got Jack Dempsey, Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali. For me. Okay. So now we're talking about but Ali's proved he was the greatest. So Ali, Henry Armstrong, Sugar Ray Robinson,
There we go.
and Roberto Duran, because he's the greatest Latino fighter of all time. So
That's a pretty good top four.
So I think all the Henry Armstrong, Sugar Ray Robinson, yeah. I mean, but that's
Okay.
if you get into boxing, a lot of people say, "Who's Henry Armstrong?" They don't know what he did in his career, Henry Armstrong or Sugar Ray Robinson. Then most people don't go back as far as Mike Tyson. So they say Sugar Ray Robinson. Oh, I know Sugar Ray Leonard. I don't know. But
right. Yep.
It's so difficult because boxing is such a good, such a lively sport and such a rich tradition in boxing. Eras. That's why when they talk about the greatest of all time, it's hard to talk about different fighters from different eras. When you got the guys who were the greatest fighters of their era. But there's a few guys who could have transferred, could have fought in any era. A few guys. Not many, but a few.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Who plays you in the Hollywood blockbuster movie about your life?
I'll tell you who. Very presumptuous, of course. Tom Holland's.
There we go.
Spider-Man.
There we go. My wife loves Tom Holland. She'll love that.
Tom Holland.
Okay. Who talks more at the dinner table, boxers or relatives?
Oh, I think relatives.
Okay.
Boxers generally are talking to people in the gym, talking to people, not so much in the ring, but before the fight or whatever. But dinners and stuff, we just kind of want to enjoy, take it all in. In social situations, I'm when I'm paid to speak, I speak. Like tomorrow, I'm going to speak an engagement. But generally, when I'm at dinners, I like to look around and just kind of take it all in and try to listen more than I talk. I think you learn a lot more by doing that.
Okay. These next few questions, I promise you've never been asked in an interview before. This is where my lack of professionalism will shine. These are going to be some goofy questions. Feel free to laugh. I'm going to laugh. Here we go. What's your favorite animal at the zoo, Ray?
Favorite animal at the zoo? It's the most majestic, the lion.
There we go.
The most majestic animal there is. You see a lion, and I saw a lion up close. I was trained in South Africa, so I was supposed to defend my country in Johannesburg, 1983. And I went on safari, and I saw the lion up close in person. They're the most majestic animal you see. You see why they're king of the jungle. They're just regal.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, that's something.
Who do you root harder for, the Bengals or the Browns?
Browns.
Browns, absolutely.
Look, it's either in Youngstown, it's either Brownies or the Steelers. Because half the town is literally. And I'm on the south side, so we're close to Pittsburgh. So most of the people I come up are from there. But I can't go for a Pittsburgh team or a Pennsylvania team. But it's hard to root for the Brownies too. Our Brownies stinking not to join. So I kind of So who do I root for? I kind of root for players. I'm rooting for Buffalo. It's close enough. I'm rooting for Buffalo.
There we go. I've shared a little bit with you about my childhood. When I was a little kid, the combination of Bernie Kosar, Webster Slaughter, and Kevin Mack were probably my favorite team ever. To this day, I love those three guys.
It's funny. I was just with Bernie last week.
Okay.
2 weeks ago at an event. And I love Bernie. He's a dear friend. And health-wise, he's having some problems right now. So let's keep him in our prayers for sure. But
absolutely.
He's wonderful people. He's wonderful people.
Okay. Let's see here. In training camp, in the locker room before fights, did you have any sort of weird superstition or rituals that you went through? A lot of guys do.
No, they do. And I didn't have any, I don't know, weird, but no, I sat by myself in the beginning and had my prayer books, and I just read my prayers. And so it was, that's not it. And then put them down, and then you kind of just get dressed and ready for the fight. We'd have music on, but it's not blasting music or anything. It's just kind of a, soothing music, calm music, soothing music. Because look, I mean, when the bell rings, I only fought one way. I wasn't going to have to get myself up. I knew what I was going to do. prepare myself mentally. But what I used to do, and I said this, and I actually read the quote the other day online. What I used to do, this is true, for every fight, when they give you the countdown, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, okay, a couple of minutes left. I go in the bathroom and I look in the mirror. And I look in the mirror, because I know I was not going to look the same when I came back. So mentally, I prepare myself. It's the last thing you do, prepare yourself. No, I'm not going to look the same when I come back.
Right.
So that was kind of my last thing I did.
Okay. How did you get into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Ed O'Neill.
Purple belt?
Yeah, I got my purple belt.
Okay.
Ed O'Neill, Married with Children, Modern Family, from Youngstown Native, was doing it. And I was looking for, at that time, some different type of workout that was challenging, that I'd never done. So he said, why don't you get into jiu-jitsu? And I'd heard of it, and I looked it up. And then when you realize, you read about it, it's the best form for the street. Best form for the street. I didn't know how to fight on my feet, but I want to learn to fight on my back. And I think for most people, it's the best. I think I would suggest for any young man to learn jiu-jitsu when they're a young kid, because for the street, 9 out of 10 times you're going to the dirt in the street. 9 out of 10. So now you learn how to fight on your back. So when I got my purple belt, I thought I won the world title. I walked around. I put the belt around my waist and I went to lunch. Yeah, that's true story. That's true story. I went to lunch. I didn't take it off. And
I would have too.
It was an accomplishment for me. And it's just, I roll with some good guys. I used to roll Ricky Rocket, from prison.
Yeah.
I tell people, I said, people say, who's the toughest guy in Hollywood? It's the toughest guy in Hollywood. Ed O'Neill. Al Bundy will whip your ass. I said, Al Bundy will whip your ass. Don't get caught up in that. I said, I'll tell you number 2, Ricky Rocket. What? I said, Ricky Rocket will choke your ass out, man. There's a lot of guys, man. There's a lot of guys in the entertainment that are.
That's great.
But the great thing about what I love about jiu-jitsu is the philosophy. The philosophy. Now, philosophy is this. You ain't got to win every fight. Just don't lose it. What that means is, if we can neutralize a guy in the street, like, that's when you roll with a guy, you get in a position, you go, I can't do nothing, but I can't do it. Then you change position, you start over again. In the street, if you look, man, once you go your way, let me go mine. Good luck to you, good luck to me. You sometimes in the street, you neutralize somebody. You don't win the fight, but you didn't lose it.
Yeah.
And that's I like the philosophy, because I didn't want to have to win every fight anymore. I don't want to fight nobody.
Get to go home.
Yeah, I don't want to fight nobody for nothing. But if I had to defend myself, defend my family, whatever in the street, I could.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you like better, latte or espresso?
Oh, I'm a double espresso. Double espresso every afternoon. Latte. Latte is like, you have a little coffee with your milk. No, the double espresso, man. And then what I like to do is I do a dollop of foam on top. So like a macchiato. I have a macchiato.
Okay. All righty.
So, no, I got to have a little bit. Man, come on, man. Double espresso, bang, man. I'm bouncing off balls.
What's the best Rocky movie?
First one?
Absolutely.
This is what I tell people. It was classic because in 1976, when it came out, America needed it. Our country needed it. It became a sounding board for America. Underdog. Now, but if you ever watch the movie, you break it down. The acting's not that good. The sound is terrible. The shots, the way they shot it was made on the cheap, so we know that. So the shooting was okay. The acting, it was, the dialogue, none of it was. But as soon as you hear dun, 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 Rocky, it's a classic. It's a classic.
Absolutely.
But but the first one was the best because it was unexpected and because of what it did, how it made you feel.
Right.
Because like I said, every other reason why it's not a great movie, but
it's
a great
it inspired
movie
people
because of what it did, what it was.
Okay. I ask everyone this question. I'm going to ask you too. In your bathroom at home, does the toilet paper feed over the roll or under?
Over.
Every single time.
Always over. Well, we be fighting. Come on, man. I don't know. It's like people go to your thing. Is the seat up or seat down? You gotta put the seat down. I got my pride here. Come on now. You can't leave this. My mother used to complain to me and my brother. For crying out loud, put the seat down. Put the seat down.
Did you ever reach a point where you started leaving it up on purpose just to be a bother?
No, I leave it up because I forget.
Gotcha.
Or
Okay.
or the best part is when you're lazy enough, you don't want to lift it when you gotta go pee. I'll just wipe the seat out.
Now you're just wasting toilet paper. Oh, I love that. All right. What's more important, hard work or natural talent?
Hard work. Hard work will always beat natural talent.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Absolutely.
I've said it. I've said it always. Well, how I say it is character, which is hard work. Mm-hmm. Character will always beat talent. Always. Character. You give me 9 guys or 10 guys with character, there's always going to be 10 guys with talent. Always.
Absolutely, man. If Youngstown was a boxer, describe its style.
I was from Youngstown was a boxer, Rocky Marciano.
Okay. I like that.
I'll take our shots, give shots, but we won't come out on top.
You're going to go commit a bank robbery, and you need to take 2 people with you, a gunman and a getaway driver. Who are you taking?
My gunman. I'm taking Clint Eastwood.
There we go.
My getaway driver. I'm gonna take my getaway driver. I'm taking Clint Eastwood as my right hand guy, and I'm gonna take Jeff Bridges as my driver.
There we go. I like that.
Yeah, because he did a couple of movies with where he had played a race car driver.
Mm-hmm. All right. You have to sing one song, start to finish, every word correct, no mess ups, for $1 million. What song are you going to sing? And you can't give me Happy Birthday, Star Spangled Banner, Merry Christmas, none of that. Actual songs.
You make me
word
feel
for
brand
word.
new about the Stylistics.
Okay. Nice.
My all-time favorite song.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
My all-time favorite song.
Okay. What's something you really enjoy that almost no one knows about?
What I enjoy? It's changed to you. You enjoy the little moments, the little things now, right? So I do crossword puzzles. I enjoy it.
Okay.
I do them all the time. It drives my wife nuts that a lot of times sitting there. But every Sunday, first day after Mass, go get the paper. I get it, read the page, but I do it for the crossword puzzle, Sunday crossword puzzle. But and I have a book, and I travel whenever I travel on the plane. I do crosswords, sitting home. Yeah.
Okay.
Try to feed the brain. You know what I mean?
Use it or lose it.
That's it.
I only have a couple questions left. Are we okay on time?
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay. Finish this sentence for me, Ray. I came on the show today with Mike G to do what?
To meet you. I came on the show today, Mike G, to meet him. I've heard so many good things about him, and to try to broaden my visibility on his platform.
Okay. What is the best way for fans and friends of yours to keep up with you and everything you have going on these days?
Social media is everybody's thing, right? Mm-hmm. I have social media. I'm on my kids handle my social media, so I'm on Instagram at Real Boom Boom I'm on Facebook at Ray MANCINI. I guess that's the best way. Then I have Instagram, and then I have the Ray Boom Boom Mancini Foundation. My foundation page gives a lot of what I'm doing. So,
tell me about the foundation.
Well, we started my foundation in 2015 when I got back home. I always wanted to do one. I was used to doing a lot of stuff for other people's foundation, and I said, "Well, I want to do that. I want to create my own and do it in Youngstown, and I want to be that guy who could give to other people." So we do that. And I do have a web page. It's called, it's boomboommancini.com. Not Ray Boom Mancini. Somebody took it. When one thing Ray Boom Mancini, somebody took it. And they try to hold you up. They try to hold you up. You know what people do. They take up all these sites, and then when you try to get your site, they want to hold you up for ransom. But the rocket scientists that they were, and they just took Ray Boom Mancini and take Boom Boom Mancini. So it's boomboommancini.com.
Okay.
And it's our website, and it kind of, and we have our store. We have a store that was on there, and then tell us about what we're doing, upcoming events and stuff like that. So if everybody's interested, boomboommancini.com. They can check me out, or Real Boom Boom Man at Real Boom Boom on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah. Ray, I have one last question for you. For anyone watching the show right now who's going through rough times in life, struggles, feeling broken, feeling like giving up, what message do you have for them?
No, man, you're going to get through it. You're going to get through it. It's like sometimes it's like walking through molasses. Slow, arduous, difficult, painful, but going to get through it. You're going to get to the other side. And you just got to, and you can't do it by yourself. People think they can do it. You can't. You got to do power of prayer. Power of prayer.
Yeah.
Find Christ in your life. Get God in your life. And find a relationship with him. Believe me, you're going to get through it. But you got to have a faith in the faith of Christ to get through it.
100%, man. Ray, I don't have any more questions, man. I want to say thank you for real.
My pleasure.
Sharing your time with me.
Thank you.
You added to great childhood memories.
Thank you. Thank you.
And full circle, you're doing it again.
I appreciate that.
I get to share this with my children.
Oh, God, I'm honored. I'm honored by that. Truly.
So thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I consider you a friend at this point. I hope you consider me one as well.
We are. And I'm gonna tell Kevin Aioli, I'm gonna say, Kevin, you finally got one right. This is a good guy.
It's about time, isn't it?
You finally got one right. Because you can't. Anything Kevin tells you, you gotta go to the other side sometimes.
Exactly. All right, Ray. Thank you again, man. It was an honor. Have a great rest of your day, sir.
Thank you, brother. Take care. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wow, that was, I can't even explain it. I watched Ray with my dad a lot when I was a kid. And I don't have a relationship with my dad these days. And most of my childhood memories of him are terrible. And I'll never share. But some of the good ones I have are with him watching Ray. So thank you very much, Ray. I appreciate it. I truly do. I don't know if you guys can tell, I cut my hair before this interview. It was about 3/4 of an inch long. I was starting to look a little bit like a hippie. And then I immediately realized that this was 30 degrees outside. Luckily, I remembered that I have, I don't know if it'll fit over my headphones here, this wicked comfortable beanie from Nick Sampson over at HKA. See that? This is the most comfortable beanie I've ever put on. I don't know if you guys can see, it's fleece on the inside. Nick's the nicest guy ever. Anything fighters need, fight fans need, go check out HKAUSA.com. Sick new shirt. I got to drop about 10 pounds before I can wear it. Look at that. Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you so much, fans of the show. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. We'll be back with BKFC fighter David Sandman Sanchez. He has an amazing story of struggle and redemption. I'm going to bring it to you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.